Ladies and gentlemen, in every corner of the world, across every generation, there lies a single burning question that unites us all. What is the purpose of my life? We chase happiness, success, and recognition, yet deep within, what we truly seek is meaning. Meaning gives us strength when times are dark. It gives us direction when the path is unclear. It turns suffering into strength and despair into purpose. From the beginning of time, human beings have sought to understand the meaning of their existence. No matter the culture, religion, or age, the question, "Why am I here?" has echoed through generations. This deep desire for purpose goes beyond the pursuit of material possessions or momentary pleasures. People may achieve wealth, fame, or power, yet still feel a void within, a silent yearning for something greater. It is this search for significance that shapes our actions, our choices, and the stories we tell about our lives. Without a clear sense of purpose, even success can feel hollow, and even comfort can feel empty. The quest for meaning is what gives direction to our lives. It helps us understand not only what we do, but why we do it. When we wake up with a reason to live, our days gain rhythm and energy. This purpose acts like a compass, guiding us through uncertainty and giving us strength in difficult times. It reminds us that our existence is not random or accidental, but part of a greater narrative. People who live with a sense of meaning tend to experience more resilience, hope, and emotional balance, because they view challenges as stepping stones rather than barriers. In a world that often glorifies speed, achievement, and superficial success, the search for meaning invites us to slow down and look inward. It asks us to question whether our goals truly align with our deeper values. Many people realize too late that they have been climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. Meaning helps us redirect our energy toward what truly matters: relationships, creativity, compassion, growth, and contribution. It transforms our daily routine into something sacred and gives even small actions a sense of purpose and importance. Ultimately, the search for meaning is a journey that continues throughout life. It is not a single moment of revelation, but an ongoing process of discovery. As we grow and change, so does our understanding of what is meaningful. What inspires us in youth may not fulfill us in maturity, and that evolution is natural. Each stage of life brings new questions and new opportunities to find purpose in unexpected places. It is through this continuous exploration that we come closer to understanding ourselves and our place in the world. Viktor Frankl's life stands as one of the most profound testaments to the human capacity for finding meaning amid unimaginable suffering. As a psychiatrist and neurologist from Vienna, Frankl was imprisoned in several Nazi concentration camps during World War II, including Auschwitz. He was stripped of everything: his family, his possessions, and his freedom. Yet what remained was his unbreakable spirit and his relentless search for meaning. Surrounded by death and despair, Frankl observed that those who managed to survive were not necessarily the strongest or the healthiest, but those who held on to a purpose, a reason to live beyond the pain and horror that consumed their daily existence. In the face of unimaginable cruelty, Frankl began to notice patterns in human behavior. He realized that even in the most inhumane conditions, individuals still had the power to choose their attitude. This inner freedom, the ability to decide how one would respond to suffering, became the foundation of his philosophy known as logotherapy. He believed that life holds potential meaning under any circumstance, even the worst of them. While prisoners lost control over their external circumstances, they could still control their inner response. This insight transformed Frankl's suffering into understanding and gave birth to a timeless message. Even when everything is taken away, the one thing that can never be stolen is the freedom to find meaning. Frankl's experience revealed that meaning could be found in three ways: through work or deeds, through love and relationships, and through the courage shown in suffering. He often reflected on the love he felt for his wife, using that memory as a lifeline to endure the torment of the camps. That love became a mental sanctuary, a reminder that beauty, goodness, and purpose still existed somewhere beyond the barbed wires. He also found meaning in his dream to one day teach others what he had learned about human resilience. This vision gave him a reason to survive, a reason to bear the unbearable. After liberation, Frankl devoted his life to sharing the lessons that had kept him alive. He wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that continues to inspire millions around the world. His story reminds us that even in the darkest corners of human history, the light of purpose can never be extinguished. Frankl's legacy challenges us to look beyond circumstances and recognize the incredible strength of the human spirit, to live for something greater, to endure with dignity, and to find meaning in life's most painful. The idea of having a why, a purpose that gives meaning to our existence, is one of the most powerful forces in human life. Viktor Frankl's famous quote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how," captures the essence of resilience and motivation. When a person knows why they are living, they can endure almost anything that life throws at them. This why becomes the anchor that keeps them grounded in the midst of chaos. It transforms suffering into strength and struggle into growth. Without a clear purpose, the difficulties of life can easily overwhelm us, leaving us feeling lost and powerless. But with a meaningful why, even pain can be endured with courage and dignity. Having a why doesn't mean life will be easy. It means life will have direction. A person driven by purpose is like a ship with a compass. Storms may come, but they will not lose their way. When people face loss, failure, or disappointment, their purpose gives them a reason to rise again. Whether it's the love for a family, the desire to create something meaningful, or the dream of helping others, this inner reason becomes the fire that keeps them going when everything else fades. It is often in the darkest times that our why reveals its strength. People who hold tightly to their purpose tend to endure suffering better because they interpret pain not as meaningless punishment, but as a challenge that refines their soul. The why also gives shape to our identity and actions. It influences how we make choices, how we handle setbacks, and how we treat others. A person without a purpose may chase temporary pleasures or distractions, always searching for something to fill the emptiness inside. But when one lives with a clear why, life becomes intentional rather than accidental. Every decision begins to align with something greater than immediate satisfaction. This sense of direction creates stability, discipline, and emotional strength. Even when the world feels uncertain, people with a strong why can remain focused and grounded because they know what they are living for. Furthermore, a clear why connects us to others and to something beyond ourselves. It transforms personal ambition into shared humanity. When our reason for living involves helping, teaching, loving, or inspiring others, we step into a realm of purpose that transcends our own needs. This connection gives life depth and richness. It allows us to face hardship not as victims, but as participants in a meaningful journey. In this way, the power of why becomes the heartbeat of resilience, the invisible force that gives life both strength and direction. Even when everything else seems, love is one of the most profound sources of meaning a person can ever experience. It goes beyond emotion. It becomes a guiding force that gives direction, strength, and purpose to life. Viktor Frankl believed that love was the highest and most noble goal to which human beings can aspire. In the darkest moments of his imprisonment, it was his deep love for his wife that kept him alive and hopeful. He realized that even when everything is taken away, love remains within the soul. To truly love someone means to see them not as they are, but as they could become. It means recognizing the potential, beauty, and goodness in another person, even when the world around you is filled with cruelty. Love, in its purest form, makes life meaningful because it allows us to step outside ourselves and connect to something eternal. Responsibility, on the other hand, is the twin pillar of meaningful living. It represents the moral and emotional commitment we make toward others and toward our own potential. A life of meaning is not lived through pleasure or comfort, but through responsibility. Taking ownership of our actions, our duties, and our impact on others. Frankl observed that prisoners who felt responsible for someone or something outside themselves, a child waiting for them, unfinished work, or a cause they believed in, were more likely to endure suffering and survive. Responsibility gives structure to life. It transforms vague existence into purposeful action. When we understand that we are accountable to life, we no longer drift aimlessly. We rise to meet the call of duty with courage and determination. The combination of love and responsibility creates a balance that gives life its deepest sense of purpose. Love without responsibility may fade into sentimentality, but responsibility without love can become cold and mechanical. Together they form the foundation of meaningful living. Love fuels our compassion, and responsibility channels that compassion into action. Through love, we care deeply. Through responsibility, we act rightly. Whether it is in our relationships, work, or community, this union allows us to live not merely for ourselves, but for something larger, something that enriches both us and the world around us. Moreover, love and responsibility help us endure suffering and transform it into growth. When we love someone deeply, we find strength we never knew we had. We become willing to bear pain, make sacrifices, and persist through hardships for the sake of that love. Likewise, when we take responsibility for our life and choices, we refuse to be victims of fate. We begin to understand that even when we cannot control what happens to us, we can always control how we respond. In that response lies our freedom and our meaning. Through love and responsibility, we discover the essence of what it means to live a truly human life, one defined not by circumstance, but by the depth of our care and the courage of our commitment. Suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. No one goes through life without facing pain, loss, disappointment, or failure. Yet what truly defines a person is not the absence of suffering, but the ability to transform it into strength and wisdom. Viktor Frankl's teachings remind us that while we cannot always choose our circumstances, we can always choose our response. This is where the potential for growth lies. When we endure hardship with awareness and purpose, suffering becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. It forces us to confront our deepest fears, to shed illusions, and to discover the hidden reserves of strength within us. What once seemed unbearable can in time become the very source of our transformation. Pain, when embraced with meaning, can awaken a deeper understanding of ourselves and of life. It strips away superficial values and forces us to see what truly matters. People who have suffered deeply often develop a greater sense of empathy, patience, and gratitude. They become more grounded, more connected, and more compassionate toward others. This transformation does not happen overnight. It is a process that requires courage and reflection. When we stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what can this teach me, we reclaim our power. Instead of being crushed by suffering, we use it to build a stronger, wiser self. Transforming suffering into growth also means recognizing that pain has the power to deepen our purpose. Many of the world's most inspiring leaders, artists, and thinkers have turned their suffering into something meaningful, whether through creating art, helping others, or spreading hope. Their pain became the seed of their greatness. In this way, suffering becomes not a curse, but a call to action, a challenge to rise above circumstances and turn darkness into light. Each trial we face can refine us, teaching resilience, humility, and inner peace. The key lies not in avoiding pain, but in allowing it to reveal who we truly are and what we are capable of becoming. Moreover, suffering reminds us of our shared humanity. When we suffer, we understand what others endure, and this shared vulnerability connects us more deeply. It breaks down the walls of ego and pride, opening the heart to compassion. Through our wounds, we learn how to comfort others in theirs. This cycle of growth creates meaning that transcends individual experience. It contributes to the collective strength of humanity. By transforming our suffering into wisdom and kindness, we give our pain a purpose, ensuring that no hardship is wasted. In doing so, We turn our struggles into stories of courage and growth, living proof that even from suffering, something beautiful can emerge. The journey of self-discovery is one of the most essential aspects of finding meaning in life. It is through looking inward that we begin to understand who we truly are, what we value, and what gives our existence purpose. Many people spend their lives chasing external achievements, wealth, recognition, or approval, without ever pausing to ask themselves what truly fulfills their soul. Self-discovery demands silence, reflection, and honesty. It requires us to peel away the layers of expectation that society, family, and fear have placed upon us. When we dare to look within, we begin to uncover our true desires, our passions, and our calling. This awareness becomes the foundation of a meaningful life because it allows us to live authentically rather than in imitation of others. Reflection plays a vital role in this process. Life moves quickly, and without reflection, we risk drifting aimlessly through it. Taking time to reflect on our choices, experiences, and emotions helps us make sense of both our joys and our sorrows. It allows us to learn from the past instead of being trapped by it. Viktor Frankl emphasized that meaning is not something we stumble upon. It is something we discover through conscious awareness and thoughtful living. Reflection gives us the perspective to see how even our struggles have shaped us, guiding us toward growth. It transforms confusion into clarity and regret into wisdom. By reflecting deeply, we find patterns in our lives that reveal what truly matters to us and how we wish to move forward. Self-discovery also involves accepting both our strengths and our weaknesses. True understanding of the self is not about perfection, but about honesty. It is about recognizing our limitations while still striving to become better each day. When we confront our fears, doubts, and insecurities, we strip them of their power. This courage to face ourselves is what gives depth to our character and strength to our purpose. Instead of being defined by external validation, we become guided by internal conviction. Self-awareness frees us from the constant comparison with others and anchors us in a sense of individuality. It empowers us to make decisions aligned with our principles rather than being swayed by fleeting trends or opinions. Ultimately, self-discovery and reflection open the door to meaning because they allow us to live with intention. When we understand ourselves, we can respond to life's challenges with clarity rather than confusion. We no longer move through life merely reacting to circumstances. Instead, we create our own path based on insight and purpose. Reflection helps us recognize that even pain, failure, and uncertainty are valuable teachers, shaping us into who we are meant to become. Through this ongoing process of self-examination, we learn that meaning is not found somewhere outside us. It is born within us, revealed each time we pause, listen, and truly see ourselves. One of the most powerful ideas Viktor Frankl presented is the shift from asking, "What do I want from life?" to "What does life expect from me?" This perspective transforms the way we understand purpose and responsibility. Most people spend their time searching for what they can get out of life: comfort, happiness, success. But Frankl suggested that true fulfillment begins when we recognize that life itself is asking something of us. Each moment presents a question, and it is our task to respond with courage, compassion, and integrity. Life is not a passive experience. It is an active dialogue between ourselves and the world around us. The meaning of our existence is revealed not in what we demand from life, but in how we answer its call. When we approach life as something that expects a response, we become more aware of our choices and responsibilities. Every situation, no matter how difficult or uncertain, holds an opportunity to act meaningfully. Even in suffering, there is a question waiting to be answered. How will I respond? Will I give in to despair, or will I rise with resilience and dignity? This way of thinking gives us agency. It reminds us that no matter how powerless we may feel, we always have the freedom to choose our attitude and our actions. Life constantly invites us to contribute, to love, to create, and to make a difference in the world around us. Our task is to listen carefully to that invitation and to respond in a way that aligns with our values and humanity. By seeing life as a series of questions, we begin to live with greater awareness and purpose. Each relationship, challenge, and experience becomes an opportunity to demonstrate who we truly are. The choices we make reveal our character and shape the meaning of our existence. This mindset shifts us from being passive recipients of fate to active participants in the unfolding of our own story. Instead of asking for life to give us meaning, we recognize that meaning is created through our responses. The question is not whether life is fair, but whether we are living truthfully, compassionately, and with purpose in the face of whatever life presents. Furthermore, understanding that life expects something from us gives our actions a sense of sacred responsibility. We begin to see ourselves as contributors to something greater than our own comfort or ambition. Every small act of kindness, every effort to persevere, every choice made in integrity becomes a way of answering life's question. Even when the answers are difficult, the very act of seeking them brings meaning. Life, in all its unpredictability, is not a test to be solved, but a conversation to be lived. And in every moment of that conversation, we are called to respond with courage, compassion, and authenticity. To meet life, not with demands, but with purpose. In the end, the search for meaning is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. A journey that challenges us to rise above mere existence and embrace life with purpose. It teaches us that no matter how dark the path may seem, there is always a reason to keep moving forward. Meaning is what transforms suffering into strength, loneliness into connection, and uncertainty into growth. It gives us the power to endure, to love, and to create, even in the face of adversity. Viktor Frankl's message reminds us that we are not defined by what happens to us, but by how we choose to respond. Each of us holds the ability to find purpose in our daily lives, whether through acts of kindness, moments of reflection, or the pursuit of something greater than ourselves. When we live with meaning, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every moment becomes sacred. So as we move through our own journeys, may we never stop asking what life expects from us. May we have the courage to live with intention, the strength to turn pain into purpose, and the wisdom to find meaning in every breath we take. For it is in living meaningfully that we truly honor life itself and discover the unshakable power within the human spirit.